Well, good morning, and thank you so much for joining us. The big political news of the week, obviously, was the decision by Governor Charlie Baker and Lieutenant Governor Karen Polito to not be on the ballot next year, a decision that kicks off the governor's race in earnest. Let's talk a little bit more about the Baker decision and the implications of it with the ace political analyst for the Boston Globe, James Pindell. Hey, James.
Hey, John.
Good to have you with us. So, I'm sorry, color me cynical. I don't believe for 1 second that they chose not to run because, to quote from their statement, it would be a distraction that would potentially get in the way of many of the things we should be working on. On the contrary, there's always politics impacting governing, and when you're a lame duck, your ability to get things done is hurt, not helped. Anyway, what's your take on why Baker chose this?
I mean, look, there's no doubt about it that, one, he is going out on top. He knows exactly what the story will be written of his term in governor if he leaves right now, and he probably likes that. Where if he stuck around, I don't think he can tell you exactly how a re-election is going to work. I think a lot of us do agree with him that he would probably win. But I don't know what that looks like. We do know he's going to be getting arrows from both the left and the right, and that his approval rating will go down because he'll be criticized by ambitious people trying to defeat him. I think the more surprising thing, frankly, is that Karen Polito is not going to try to take up, the mantle. We all assumed that while Charlie Baker may or may not run, and none of us really knew which way he was going to go on that, may have had a hunch one way or the other, but not really knew. We all assumed that she would run if he did not. And the fact that she's pulling herself out really does create the question, what's going on here? Are they just going to allow she's the sort of Trumpy Republicans to take here are the keys and then run the car in the ditch and then everyone can see come back? I mean, maybe that's what's happening here. But
it appears to me that's what's happening. She's seeing the same polling numbers he does. She has all of the baggage that has led to Baker being demonized as a rhino and trashed daily on right-wing talk radio without any of the sort of juice and appeal that he's built up. So I can understand it. Does Charlie Baker have a political future here?
Yeah, look, there's only one way to go, to run for president. And he says he does not want to run for president. He constantly talks about his age, which is almost 65.
Yeah,
and then what's he going to do? Run for U.S. Senate? I mean, I don't see how that's going to work. In terms of we have obviously in an environment where you're not running against. It's not Charlie Baker versus Elizabeth Warren or the Democrat who the nominee will be. By the way, in 2024. But it's going to be Mitch McConnell or substitute your Republican leader against that Democrat. And that's the model. And Charlie Baker probably doesn't want to be part of that either.
We got to take our break here, but Jeff Deal, the former state rep, defeated 2018 U.S. Senate candidate, is now alone in terms of a well-known Republican who's declared he's running for governor. Do you expect him to have any company? And if so, who?
He will have company. Whether or not he'll have, an actual match in the company is the other question. Right now, the question for Jeff Deal is when does he begin to move to the center? He is probably going to be the Republican nominee, and he cannot be the next governor of Massachusetts running as a Trumpy Republican. So that's the real question we're going to be watching here. I'll probably stick with a Trump to ford off any other serious primary challengers. But then after that, he's going to have to move right to the center.